then let
All
everybody.
right, let me let the rest of the people in. Hold on.
All right.
Here's Al.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yep, Al's there.
All right, good.
Renaming myself.
Just let me know when you're all set and ready to go.
Oh.
I am ready, Bill.
Yeah, okay, good. No, I'm just waiting for Christy now.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
All right. I would like to call the Bradley Beach Planning Board of September 24th to order. Will everyone please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God,
indivisible, with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all. Wrecking the joint. At this time, I would ask that everyone please silence all of your phones and other paging devices in the background as they are distracting to others. Please keep your device muted until you are called upon to speak. The 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act has been met, as notice of this regular virtual meeting was emailed on September 9th, 2020 and published in the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the Coaster. A copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office, and a copy has been filed with the borough clerk. Chair Shook,
Here.
Mr. Gubitosi,
Here.
Mr. Rosenthal. Mr. Jung,
Here.
You're
Ms.
Mark.
DeMarco,
Here.
Ms. Russo,
Here.
and Mr. Maynard.
Here.
Just go on the borough website and you could log in that way. That's Mark Rosenthal. Okay. Yeah, just to log on right to the website. And once you press meetings, it'll let you write in with no password. Okay. 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 He'll be a few minutes late. He's logging in. Okay. We're done with the roll call, Christy?
Yes, I also wanted to make a note for the record that Greg Cannon is in for Monica Kowalski this evening. So he's acting as our board attorney. He's also the borough attorney. And Gerald Frieda is with us. Christine Bell will not be with us this evening.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Next up is the approval of the minutes. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes? Now, just to let everyone know, there's been an addition to it. Christy, you want to let them know what that change is or addition?
Sure. I had email correspondence with Meredith earlier today. She had just requested that I add where she had made the comment about her concerns with the cars moving in and out of the driveway area and the parking on Main Street. She also had expressed she had concerns with the lack of a loading zone, which was also had to do with the cars and the parking on Main Street. So I just added the lack of the loading zone on page 4.
Okay, but that was a variance that was approved by the board?
Correct, correct.
All right.
Bill, I had one
ahead.
minor, and Christy, by the way, these are amazingly thorough notes, so thank you for that. The only question I had, if maybe we could add a clarifier if others agree. Page 2, about 4 rows down, there's a comment, there is no signage proposed at this time. And I do recall that's a correct statement, but the elevation that they shared with us actually had a lot of signs, like 7 of them. And I know they said to us, we're not going to have that many signs. Is that something we could just include here as a reference that they're not going to have 7 signs? I think they said 2 or 3.
Yes, and I think they said they were going to comply, and that was just the rendering of the architect, because I believe George Waterman had brought that up. So
I don't recall the exact wording, but I just do recall that I think they were talking about a sign for each retail outlet and maybe a sign for the building. So I thought we left it that they were talking about 3 signs.
I'll check on the correct number of signs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything else that any board member would like to add or review as far as the minutes?
I just had a question on that last a point that was raised by Councilman Gubitosi. So did you guys approve signs last meeting? Was that part of the whole presentation, or was it just a rendering that had signs and then nothing?
It was an architectural rendering that showed a whole bunch of signs, and George Waterman had asked about it. They said that they were not applying for signs at this time. It was just for whatever reason that they put it on there.
Then if I may, I know you guys were talking about numbers of signs, just to avoid any confusion. Perhaps the revision should be, there is no signage proposed at this time. Any signage would be subject to further approval, period. That way, it's just, they have, the signs weren't the sign. Sounds like, I just kind of caught that conversation. You can put numbers of signs in there, that can be confusing.
Yeah.
So that I'm useful here tonight in some way. Thank you.
Christy, Mark just joined us. Mark, we're discussing the minutes. Any additions or changes that you would like? You're muted, Mark.
None that I found. Everything was fine with me.
Okay. Being that there's no other changes or addition to it, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they were posted and changed. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Maynard,
Yes.
Ms. Russo,
Yes.
Ms. DeMarco,
Yes.
Mr. Jung,
Yes.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Yes.
Mr. Gubitosi,
Yes.
and Chair Shook.
Yeah, yes. Next, we have the memorialization of the Resolution 2020-14, preliminary and final major site plan approval for Coastal Custom Builders, LLC, or otherwise known as Bradley West, Block 32, Lots 17 and 18, 803, 811 Main Street. Are there any questions from the board in reference to the resolution memorial? Amy, you had a hand up or? No? Okay.
She was fixing her camera.
Oh, okay. Are there any questions or anything from the board? Seeing none, can someone make a motion to approve the resolution? I am not able to do this.
I will make that motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Amy. Mr. Maynard,
Yes.
Ms. Russo,
Yes.
Mr. Gubitosi,
Yes.
Mr. Jung,
Yes.
and Mr. Rosenthal.
Yes.
Do I get to vote?
No, you don't.
Oh,
Okay, I believe that's it on the agenda, but before I
Wait,
ask,
Meredith was there, wasn't she?
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
she
there last
voted
week.
against. Yeah, she voted against the application, so she's not eligible to memorialize an approval.
I see.
Thanks, Christy.
We have no applications under consideration at the current time. And before I ask for an adjournment, make a motion to adjourn the meeting, I just want to say that does everyone know that George, as of September 30th, the zoning officer will be resigning? I don't know if everyone heard about that or knows it.
Yes.
But I just want to say that the knowledge that George shared with us, the learning that he brought cannot be compared with anything. In the last, I'd say maybe a little bit more than 6 months ago, we started to review the definitions in our ordinances. This was being done by George, myself, Al Gubatosi. We had the zoning chairperson also on board, including an architect, a builder, and we also had a resident. We spent many hours doing this with George. And I just want everyone to know that this will be forwarded to our engineer and planner for review to make sure that it's consistent with everything. And after that, it'll probably be sent to either Greg Gannon or our attorney for review to make sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and so on and so forth. Then after all that is done, it'll go to the mayor and council. And then after that, it'll come back to us. So we're looking at a few months yet before we get to see all those definitions and stuff like that. Excuse me?
Do we know who he's gonna be replacing him?
It was mentioned at the mayor and council meeting. Al, you remember his name? I don't offhand.
I don't offhand. It is in the minutes. We did have a resolution to appoint this individual for 1 month for $1,500 while we look for a full-time person.
Oh, so he's just a temporary person.
He may become full-time, but yet the resolution approved
Right.
1 month at $1,500, which was only 9 hours a week.
Do you know what his background is by any chance, Al? I mean, I didn't see the meeting, so.
My understanding is that he has an extensive zoning background, and I believe it was someone that Dave Brown has worked with in the past and thinks highly of.
Oh, cool.
He's currently the code enforcement officer in the town next to mine in Keyport. I could tell you that. His name is Michael Mulcahy. I know him because I'm a lawyer in the area, and he writes lots of tickets. So,
As long as they're not yours.
He's a really nice guy. I would vouch for him.
Okay.
Also, I just wanted just to add to what the chairman talked about, how important these definitions, and I'm sure councilman's talked about it here. So we face countervailing lawsuits on this decks porches issue. So we have people on one, there's two ways to interpret it: nothing, or it can be there. And so we have people who are objecting and saying it should be nothing. And then we have other people in completely other areas of town that are saying it should be there. And so absent clarifying that definition, we're going to spend a lot of money in court to figure out what it really means. So, I wanted to stress the importance of that. As the borough attorney, I presently have one lawsuit that I'm looking at on my whiteboard over here in my office. And I have another one coming on literally the opposite side of the issue. And so there really is no room where for the borough to go on this issue, or nowhere for our professionals to exercise their discretion to get us out of this kind of potential litigation. So we really need a clarification there. I appreciate your work on it. Thank you. I should say that.
And, well, like I was going to say, we just finished that last week, luckily, before George. So the only thing we need to do is clean up a lot of notes that we had written on there. All the crossing out, the dates that were put in, when we changed what. We're going to keep that on file. I'm sure Al's going to keep it. I'm going to keep a record of it. And we're going to submit a nice clean one to the mayor and council and the engineer to review. But,
and Bill, following up on what you were saying, I also want to compliment the work that George Waterman did, because as Bill mentioned, this spanned 4, 5, or 6 months, and you would think why would it take that long to just review these definitions? Well, we ended up at one point, I think, with close to 100 pages. It's like 80 some odd pages of definitions with notes and subnotes and further subnotes. And George did an amazingly thorough job of going through our ordinances, searching keywords, finding that we would use a certain definition in different ways in different sections of our ordinances. So he did an amazingly thorough job of finding all those inconsistencies, laying them out for us. And then he did a lot of research using, what was it, Bill? There's a particular book he was relying upon for definitions.
Moskowitz.
Moskowitz, yes, thank you. And where he couldn't find definitions in Moskowitz, he found them in other places. So right down to, Bill, our very last conversation where you actually encouraged us to consider differentiating towers from telephone poles. Something that as we started to look in Moskowitz, there was no sufficient definition, and George worked with us to create one. So he really did an amazingly thorough job, and it did take a long time. But it now positions us to revisit elements of the ordinances themselves that rely upon those definitions.
Yeah. And, like I said, again, going by what you said, Al, that George has been an amazing individual, not just in the zoning office, but, he was always there for us, the engineer, the planner, even the attorney to reach out for. We called and he was right there answering our questions. So again, I just want to thank George for everything that he's done for us and wish him the best.
Agreed.
Okay, with that, I guess make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, our next meeting is scheduled. We don't have any applications pending, but we might have something handed down from council. So it is Thursday, October 22nd. We may have a consistency review to do if they're ready. But as of right now, there's nothing on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so just stay tuned.
Thank you,
And
Christine.
I would like to see everyone safe and healthy next meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Likewise.
you. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Over and out.
Yeah.